Do-ba-da-da-da-boo. Do-ba-da-ba-doo-doo. And then, welcome to the Trash Cats Trashcast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven.
And today, Steven, I need your help. I think I'm coming out of a depression and I feel good and my anxiety isn't as bad as it usually has been. And I need to figure out what the fuck I'm going to do with my time.
Okay.
So I have all of the DIY stuff that I kind of want to do around the house that I've been working on. You know about these things, but I was hoping.
Oh man, you're going to make me be argo and contentious, aren't you?
I mean, maybe that's what you choose to be. You know, I feel like, you know, you're one of the more creative people I know. I trust your aesthetic choices and judgments. So I feel like you can help me come up with either some projects or some things to watch, some things to do. But I need help because I've been in an anxiety depression mode for months now, and I'm coming out of it and I have all this energy and I wanna use it efficiently.
Have you heard, I know you have, the quote, like, how do you be confident? And the answer is you do things that you feel confident about.
Yeah. Only do things that you're good at so that you never fail.
No, it's like you do things that you know, make you have pride, so it's easier to feel confidence daily or whatever. So when I hear you say you need to have, you want projects or things, fuck projects.
Well, I want ideas for projects. I reserve the right to shut them down.
Why would you want an idea for a project?
I don't know, man. I want shit. I like doing shit. Like you have. So I don't.
You need meaningful shit.
Yeah. I mean, I have.
What's a project?
I have meaningful shit. I have, like, I don't know, something that's going to take me, you know, a couple weeks to finish and do. I feel like, you know, like I want inspiration. I have, like, I have the energy. I don't have the motivation.
I feel like that's an illusion.
Yeah, fucking help disillusion me, asshole. I'm asking for help.
All right.
So, well, I mean, like,
I'm thinking.
It's to the point where it's not really a project because I'm sitting on the couch and doing nothing while it's happening. But the last couple of years I've tried to do the 31 horror movies throughout the month of October.
I'm gonna stop you.
Yeah, hold on. Let me tell you. I watched.
No, hear me out.
Yeah.
I'm a lot less interested in brainstorming activities or projects than I'm interested in thinking about what things are worth doing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does, yes. That's actually helpful because I have some ideas already kind of loosely, but like it's better if we figure out which ones make the most sense. And
like if you told me I had to pick like a themed 30 movies for a month, like when I hear someone else say that, it's like, all right, that's cool. If I had to do that, or like that's what my month looks like, I'm going to be dead by day 28. I'm going to kill myself. There's no fucking way, dude. Like, what's the point of that?
It's because it's spooky month, Steven, and we have to find things to live for because otherwise life is shallow and bleak. And, you know, sometimes it's the simple things that just make life a little bit better.
Here's a little secret. You know that stupid book, The Secret?
Does that sentence sound like somebody who's out of depression?
Here's the secret. It's never about the simple things. It's such a fucking lie. Oh, it's the small things. When your partner gives you a hug or makes tea or like things like, they're nice. But if they fucking destroy your life the rest of the day.
But they made me tea that one time, though.
Or they burned down their house. They burned down the house when they made the tea. I'm telling you, that tea don't fucking matter. Like the small things.
But their heart was in the right place, Stephen.
The small things don't fucking matter. Like having a nice movie at the end of the night, every night for a month,
It's a luxury.
Yeah, but like 30 years, 30 years later, you're going to be like, I'm proud. I'm proud of that month. Like, that fulfilled me. I lived. Like, if the conversation is like, yo, I'm a wreck. I fucking just need to get through a month.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, yeah, let's brainstorm any dumbass activity.
Yeah, that's fair. So here's the thing. Let me answer your first part of that. So I have thought that before of like days where I've spent doing nothing, just full rest, doing jack shit, and I have spent part of those, that day or like later on in it or like days later thinking about, man, all that time that I'm not going to get back that I was doing nothing, that I really did nothing productive or proactive or anything that's like memorable or noteworthy. And, like what else could I have done with that time? And let me tell you, there were several times in the last few months where I was grateful for those times that I spent doing jack shit, and I look forward to doing more of those.
Of course, like when things are stressful, like of course you value the slow time, the chill time. I forgot to turn off my air. Just fucking turn it off.
Jesus, fucking unprofessional.
No, here's the thing. I love all my friends, right?
But
I cannot tell you, like, I don't think of myself as an incredibly driven person. I think I'm kind of idealist in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
But I see, like, so many people I care about that are so talented that just seem to have no desire to do things or make things, and it's so disappointing. I'm not like directing that at you.
You're
aggressively.
upset. You're upset with the lack of ambition on other people,
dude. Like, what's the fucking point? Life's so stupid. Like, what's the point of like a comfortable night or like some fun things to do if none of it mattered?
Well, here's what I would argue in return. What's the point of the ambition,
dude? All right,
if none of it matters.
I'll say that right. I feel like I'm completely failing. Like, I am not happy with where my ambitions have led me. It's incredibly disappointing and frustrating, and I think could even be argued is equally as much of a waste of time and possibly even more of a detriment to myself. But I still feel like trying matters so much more than not trying. Or at least I have some level of pride or confidence in myself that I think carries through in other parts of life, because I know I'm like really trying, and I wish I felt that in other people more.
Now here's the key thing about what you just said, is you're not happy with where you're at. You're not satisfied, at least.
Absolutely not satisfied. Yeah.
That's the major difference where I am. And I feel
that's even more disappointing. I'm happy. I'm happy you feel that way, and like people I care about feel that way. I can't relate to that at all.
Let me clarify that it's not that I want it to stay like this for forever. It's that I'm satisfied with where 30. I'm at right now.
We're 30. What the fuck's going to change?
I can do different shit. I don't know. There's that door is open. That's the other thing. So I was going to ask, so like, what in your life is like in the last 10 years, did you have a 5-year plan? Did you have a 10-year plan?
I'd
kind of thing that like, is that what you're basing?
No, I until the last maybe 4 or 5 years of being sober, I've never had a plan outside of the week, you know? And I don't have a 5-year plan now.
Yeah.
For sure. But it's just, it's a pursuit, though.
So I would argue that in that vein, you're being harsh to yourself. You're comparing yourself to something that doesn't exist. You're comparing where your current state to a nebulous idea of what could be or what could have been.
Of myself, yeah.
Yes. And that's the most pointless shit you could ever do. So that's some shoulda, woulda, coulda shit.
If you always fail, but you don't see versions of yourself in the future that could be better?
Oh, of course.
Of course. That's my point.
Yeah, no, and I think that's good to always have that and look forward to that. But don't be upset with where you're at now. You're at the place you're at now because of decisions you made in your past.
But what's so great about now?
It's the next step to tomorrow.
I don't give a fuck about tomorrow or now.
Well, then what are you concerned with? The past? What is it? None of it?
None of it. Yeah. I would say it's not of, like, I don't care about.
See, it sounds like
how
you
yesterday
have no ambition.
No. I don't care about how yesterday went. I don't care how tomorrow goes, but I care what I do tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
That, I feel like that should, and I might overvalue that, but I don't understand why so many people are undervaluing that. Like a week from now, let's say we wrote on paper all the shit we did in the week.
Mm-hmm.
Most of that goes to shit we don't want to do, work to survive, whatever. And if you want to be like uber generous, it's like, oh, we paid some taxes, we shared some food with people, we participated in democracy. Like that dumbass shit, like who the fuck cares? It was a waste of time. It's just what we needed to do to survive, right?
Yeah.
We got a massive chunk sleeping. All right. The rest of the time, it's either there's a more concise way to say this, but it'd be like mind, body, and like accomplishments, right? Like that week, the only other things that we could add to have done that week are like improvements to our mind, improvements to our body, or like things we either accomplished or made, like that other category.
Yeah.
So if a full week goes by and we didn't like learn shit, we didn't like improve or change our body, whatever, or we didn't create or have gone and done something, then that entire week is literally dead. Like, it's just dead time.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people's weeks are just dead. And I wouldn't put, like there's some value in, if I'm being uber generous, there's value in having experienced the art, like all the movies that week, right? There's value in that, for sure. But it's low. It's low.
I mean, to be fair, that's not my entire day is watching a movie.
I know. I'm not accusing you of that at all. No.
Typically, it does end up
you.
being I miss a couple days during the week, so on like my Monday when I'm off, I'll put on a couple of them while I'm doing other shit. But
we both know how we feel each other. My point is, it's really easy to have a dead week, and like if the things I'm lining up ahead of me don't have things in those other categories, I feel like I'm just losing time or dying. Like I feel like what's the point of only lining up the comfort things or the enjoyment things if there's not something in that other category that is helping pull you through the week or whatever.
So let me ask you this. What does a 5-year, 10-year goal look like for you? Something that needs to change for you to feel more satisfied with your time, with your existence. What's something that could, like, if it were to change, like, right now, it would make things better,
feel different.
Yeah.
Primarily be creative pursuits. There would also definitely be physical changes and mental changes, or like goals I want to be at.
Okay.
But primarily it would be not so much success, and it's definitely not money, but there's some level of like, if I could have a higher degree of success, even if it's just to myself creatively in whatever pursuit, which the podcast has definitely become a part of for sure, and my art and writing, that would change how I feel.
Now, I feel like
to some extent,
you're in a somewhat unique position. And I guess not a unique position. That's not the proper word for it, but you're in a different position from me.
But I think we're all in that position, whether we know it or not. It just might be at different ends.
Well, let me point this out. I feel like the position of being in a job that you don't have a passion for, like at all.
Most people are in that camp.
Right. So that's why I feel like that's not a unique thing, but it's like I don't have that. I've had jobs in particular that, didn't give me that, but as far as I'm concerned, this career path does.
Can I shortcut this? We've had this conversation before, and I super respect what you do, and it's outstanding. You get fulfillment from it. Yeah. If I'm just curious, in 30 years, if your categories were limited, since you do have fulfillment in what you do for your career, if your categories were limited to that, in 30 years, would you feel pretty fulfilled? That's like a genuine question of curiosity. Like, do you feel like it's fulfilling to the extent of, like, just doing this job, like not necessarily this job, but doing what you do? Do you feel like if that is the rest of your life, you would feel fulfilled with that?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, that's part of the nature of the job. Like, the thing that I like about this career is that, like, there is growth and evolution embedded, like, encoded into it. It's part of the gig is change. So it doesn't feel like I don't imagine that it's going to feel stale.
That's like excitement.
If you're doing it right, it doesn't feel stale.
I get that, but
so let me finish answering your question. Okay. I feel like in just that sector, yes, I'll be satisfied. I think obviously, like you said, and I agree with you. The mind and body are the two other main things that you need to pursue and put time and effort into. And of course, those changes don't happen overnight either. You can make the decision overnight to make a change, but it takes time to see results and make patterns and habits and whatnot out of. So I feel like there is something that, like, I'm not looking to change my career, like my general career out in my life. Yeah. I'm pretty happy where I'm at. Whereas I'm interested to see if you were looking at a 5-year, 10-year plan, and the end all goal was to find something that allows you to spend more time. That's the main goal, is allows you to spend more time on creative endeavors. Mm-hmm. Did you have any thoughts on that? Any plans on that?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I switch careers at some point or go back to school again. But I think also, like, I see realistically, like, I'll probably code the next 5 years, but if I stick with it that long and I'm still not making progress in the other categories I actually care about, I think this career for me could be flexible where I don't have to leave the field but could work my own schedule at some point. So I see that as plausible too, but I definitely could see myself, bouncing out and doing something new. But I don't see any career being fulfilling to me.
That's fair. I definitely understand that. I feel like, because regardless of anything, like we've talked about, there is still definitely the thing of you wake up and like it's hell realizing that I have to go to work today.
Yeah.
Like even if it's just for a minute, you might start getting more excited about it as the day goes on and it starts to get easier or whatever, but it's still work. Work is still work.
Yeah.
I guess the main thing I'm getting at is like how do we, like if you're in a position where you're unhappy or unsatisfied, how do we fix that?
I'm not worried about it.
Oh, I am. You're worried about everyone else not being ambitious enough, and I'm worried about my buddy Steven over here, who I feel like could be living better next year.
I think I will be living better next year than this year. Or like, I expect a continued gradual increase in my life, or that I've had going for a little while now. But I'm not concerned with that. It's like trying to get somebody a birthday gift who doesn't want a birthday gift.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where like
I definitely relate to that.
It's like clearly like it's still an appreciated thing, but it's not ever going to be what the person really wanted. Where like for me, my concern would be more like how do we get to the things we really want or care about?
I think I hear what you're saying, but I still have this. I'm still having this thought in my head of like, what would Steven's ideal day to day be? And ideally, it would just be wake up on a beach somewhere with drugs and
sex and drugs.
Yeah, naked women feeding you grapes.
Yes.
And I feel
raspberries.
So I feel like, obviously that's, you can't live on that. You have to have other things going on for you to be able to live like that.
Yeah.
So what's the compromise? Maybe you're a lifeguard at the beach.
That's a very funny thought.
And
I buy a smoothie on my lunch break.
You're a lifeguard on the beach, and you don't have piles of heroin, but there's people dealing heroin. And
get a 20 bag every day. And I buy a smoothie on my lunch break.
On your way to work, like you're picking up Starbucks.
Bro, I live that life, bro. That 20 bag before a drywall shift is the worst. You know how much drywall dust I've snorted? Oh my god. It's so bad. It just gunks up in your nose instantly. Day is ruined.
I can't imagine heroin being the thing that's like, this is going to get me through the day. I mean, like in a way of like, you need it kind of thing, but like.
If you're in it for real, like you have to get it before you go to work. Like for like at least 5 years, there's no way I got to work without shooting or snorting something for sure. And when you're already that far in it, it's what gives you energy. Like
That's crazy.
it affects you like how people think crack affects a crackhead. Where like as soon as you've got it,
rather than
you're moving quick.
Rather than giving you the extra boost like a crack addict, you just become like a regular man.
Basically,
you get all the powers of a regular man.
A regular drywall. Yes.
That's my superpower of choice.
It costs money to activate and has a 4-hour window.
This is this is drywall, man. He all he needs is like how some superheroes get their power from the sun or from some cape or something. He buys $20 worth of heroin. It's the powers of a regular man who does drywall.
What is heroin except snortable sun powder? If you really think about it, think how much lovely sun had to go into those little poppy plants.
You're right.
And now all this,
you're taking that sun energy
digital,
and you're just extracting it.
Yeah, it's just chemical moon dust now. All this fentanyl, digital moon dust. It's nothing like the sunny powder I had in my day.
Smoking Doja coins. Just
all right, I'll push it a step farther. So if we do comfort versus fulfillment is basically the argument or the nexus we're at.
Yeah.
So I feel like our philosophies are almost reversed. Like if we go to the analogy of the IV drug bag, infinite drug bag, plugged into, all you got to do is press the morphine button and you have the perfect drip of drugs all day, every day. The little pleasure bag you wheel around with you and you're blissed out. I feel like we're almost in reverse where I'm advocating that doesn't matter and not to press the button, and you're more advocating to go for it.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense?
I don't know.
How does that make any sense?
I feel like in a situation where everything else sucks, you gotta find something. And if that's the only thing that you can possibly find, that's why I see you as a creative person. That's why I'm asking you. I feel like you could and you do come up with other things that, supplicate your time, but those things aren't like in the time when you were fully using, were you having similar feelings of dissatisfaction with your life?
Yeah.
So that's not the thing that makes it go away.
Right, it's a distraction.
Yeah. So, you find other distractions. I don't know. I feel like let me throw another career shift idea.
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have to so you don't want to go full hedonism.
I feel like it's not that I don't want to, it's that I know it's not a feasible action based on my my current access of resources.
It's more feasible than you think. It's just miserable. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying that's not what you're truly interested in.
Right.
You're not in break shit, fuck on the floor, life is fucked, so I'm gonna stay fucked mode, right?
Right.
So you're not so much interested in that. You have a certain level of fulfillment through your career.
Mm-hmm.
You're still curious about pressing the bliss bag button, but it feels to me like you're saying everything's enough. Like it's, I have enough. This is okay where I'm at because I have a base level of fulfillment covered, and I'm doing a certain amount of things I enjoy, and I'm happy enough.
There is that, but when I think the main thing is that I look at it like, it's not that this is enough, it's that this is what I have. This is everything that I have to work with, and there's no choice for it to be enough, at least in this moment.
It's like welfare mindset, bro. That's that Section 8 thinking.
Damn.
You're to Scarface, bro.
The idea of, like, obviously there's time to grow, and I can do things and make these changes, but in the moment to moment, the day to day, I only have what I have. I only have the resources to work with that I have, available to me.
That's true, and on a day-to-day, that's good, right? But what about the fucking time you're off work chilling? Like, that's when I feel like it shouldn't be enough then.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. That's I come to you, if you'll recall, if you'll rewind to the beginning of the episode, when I came to you and I said, hey, I'm going to have more time, and I have energy to do things. Yeah, and I'm looking for suggestions.
You were inquiring about projects.
Yeah, I want to do stuff. I have stuff in my head that I could do and I can get started on, but I was interested to see if you had any things that could spark some inspiration in me.
Well, my first question is, what the fuck is a project? Because when I hear project,
it can be anything.
But people that do projects,
making a thing,
they're one-offs
or completing a thing. Yeah,
I'm talking body of work.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is like, I don't constructively make art the way that you do. And we've talked about that, of where, like, it kind of bottles up on me, and then I kind of release the pressure vent, and then I
that's why I said at the start of this, I was going to end up being contentious, because I bet a year ago to date we were talking about drawing.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and it's not that I do plan on drawing. I do plan on doing something with that, doing more with that than I did last year.
Then why isn't that the goal?
But no, so that's a passive thing to me. I feel like that's not a thing that I'm doing to, better my, when I think of projects, I think of, like, me renovating my kitchen, like doing shit like that. Like, that's a project to me. That's something that takes like a weeks to work on, like little bits and that. Oh, absolutely not. Oh man,
see,
it's
to
super
me,
not though.
How can we say, like, pursuing a craft is the passive thing, but for me,
it is. It's not pursuing I mean, I guess it's not pursuing anything. It's me exercising a thing, because I'm not trying to, like, draw to get good at drawing, to build a portfolio, to do anything with it, other than, like, express. Hey, this is cool. Yeah, exactly. It's me exercising something, and I see how I can absolutely feel where other people feel differently when they do that. But for me, it's just, I'm having fun. I'm doing it because it's something I enjoy doing. That's why I didn't pursue a career in it, was because I realized it's not going to be fun to me anymore.
I agree.
I'm forced to do it.
That's why I didn't want a career in it either. At least not the typical artist careers or whatever. But to me, that's the part that I'm not being shitty. We've talked about this before. I don't mean this as like a negative to you or other people I care about, but to
yes,
me,
you do. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Not in a way that's supposed to hurt, but I find that so disappointing. Like, you don't. Yeah. Why is there not something more? Like, I feel like you're not seeing a full value in it, or.
I don't see the same value in it that you do. Just like you don't see the same value in renovating my kitchen the way I do.
But I think there's a legitimate value difference.
And I think that's your opinion, and that's cool. But I think that it's just your opinion, man.
I don't think it's opinion. Because
that's what I love about you. Your opinions are facts, and anyone else that says it differently is wrong.
It's true and base. But how? All right, here's the. I hate doing the like deathbed analysis. Like, oh, when you're old, how will you reflect on it? But it's like the quickest, easiest way to like snap it in scope. Mm-hmm. Let's say 5 years.
Yeah.
You're doing even better and you buy a nicer house.
Yeah.
Would you have been... Do you feel like it's more important what you learned, expressed, accomplished renovating the kitchen, or if you spent that exact amount of time pursuing something creatively? Like, it doesn't have to be drawing, but whatever it is, like something inward.
I think that here's a core piece of this. I do see it as pursuing something creative or doing something creatively, because I'm not just, I'm not doing the hardware shit. I'm making my kitchen feel like when I walk into the room and I see it every day, I have something that I love, that I'm turning it into a piece of art that I can step into.
I get that.
Is the way that I see it. So when I get a new house, and if let's say I in 5 years, whatever, like not long at all, I hit the fucking lotto or whatever, just enough to get a brand new house, and I get this new house, and it's not that I lost time in doing this kitchen the way I wanted to, is I learned things along the way about how to do this next time if I want to do it, or how
there's a million things to learn. It's a practice of meditation, but these
aesthetics. Are the kind of lessons, these are the kind of things that I really enjoy, that I get fulfillment out of. Is how's the word I want to phrase it, is like, I mean, it's a production thing. It's still, I'm producing something. I'm producing an outcome.
It's the same difference between drawing something from your mind that doesn't exist, or using AI tools and commands to make it, right? I'm not saying it's valueless at all. There's so much. There's tons of things to learn, and like a whole form of like meditative construction and aesthetics and shit. But I don't think it's the max of your creative potential to interior design your kitchen. It's not like, I might get hyperbolic and say it's like a waste, or I don't actually think that at all, but I feel like I know you. I know what you're capable of. I feel like there's a version of like, for me it might be one thing, but I feel like there's a different inward adventure of sorts that would be pursuing something more true.
How do you mean when you say more true?
More true to whatever you're searching for. I was like trying to choose that word specifically because I think the means of like the things I do is searching for some truth of myself, and I think that's probably different for everyone. Mm-hmm. Like I would imagine like your cooking and creative pursuits in that realm are probably reflect a truth inside yourself or that you're pursuing. Mm-hmm. And that because you get a lot of that through your career, that can feel like enough. But I would argue like the time spent, it's not that the time spent doing the hobby, or I don't know, what do we call it? The projects is a waste, but that if we were only planning for those things opposed to pursuing whatever truth I imagine is also in you the way I feel it is in me, that maybe that would take place or take shape of you doing something specific with cooking or with art or whatever the fuck it is. But it's hard for me to believe, knowing you, that you would get that it would be a full pursuit in doing the random projects from time to time. Where I think it like satiates that. I think there's things to be learned and gained, but
I would argue that you're wrong. I would argue that you may think that that's how I feel, but like those are the things that fill me with I completed this thing, and I get more of a sensation out of that than any time I've ever done art.
Don't we deserve more? More
than what we want?
Don't we deserve to want more? Like, if you feel that way, then why wouldn't you be going full into that?
Because, like, do you mean like spending all of my time doing shit around my house?
You're a hobbyman, craftsman.
Because I don't have the money for it, and
that's not true. Come on.
If I don't have the funds to fuel the need or the things that I need to,
there's so many ways it could take shape.
I'm not saying I want to reno kitchens for a living. I'm not saying I want to, do, handyman shit for everybody. I'm saying
then start a fucking notebook, like start planning projects, like designing, like I
have that. I literally have that.
I don't hear you talking about it. I ain't seen.
I talk about different shit I want to do all the time.
Then we have.
But most of it's expensive shit to get started. Like I can't do I can't start working in my shed really until we get it stabilized.
We got to get it
stabilized, and that's going to be expensive. So
we got to rule out money because
but that's the only thing that's holding me back from doing the exact thing you're asking me to do.
I don't buy that. No shot.
Well, I can't stabilize the garage myself with no resources.
Wait, now we're stabilizing garages?
So that's what I was just saying is like I want to work on. We have a shed outside. It's an old carriage house, and
be a farmer.
That's what I'm saying. Here's the thing. Honestly, I was looking into the idea of turning a plot of my backyard into. Just having a couple plants, just like start with some simple shit.
I was being ironic, but
my yard gets no fucking sunshine because of all of the maple trees and elm trees and shit in my backyard.
But there's a solution that isn't hindered purely by money. Right?
Which is?
I don't know, but that's like, right? Like, this is like what Republicans make fun of poor people for, right? Like, that money is the hindrance from like passion or pursuit of shit. Like there's even if it's just like sketching the ideas of all the things you want to build, or like till you have the material. Like there's a version of this, right?
Yeah,
that isn't just money locked.
So I have. If you want me to go through the details, I have a table drawn out that I want to build. I
remember this table.
I'm sorry.
I remember this table.
The enchantment table?
But it was from like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's the part.
It's not priority on my list. When I do have the money to do actual things, it takes precedence somewhere else. I'd rather have a nice kitchen to work in and have I feel like, especially as someone who has spent the kind of time that I do in the kitchen that can do the things that I do in the kitchen, point. I should have a nice kitchen to work in. In my personal opinion, it should be the best fucking room in the house.
That's dope. Yeah, I fully agree with that.
So for me, spending spending time on that, I could invest it a little bit more evenly into smaller stuff here and there, but that's a priority to me.
Okay.
So I'm investing in that as a priority. I'm investing my time, my energy, my resources into that.
All right, we gotta rewind. You remember our conversation last week of like trying to bring someone to an idea they're not familiar with, and it's like walking into the art gallery, right? Like if the gallery looks like shit, even if the painting's nice, it gives off the wrong vibe or whatever. Like the presentation. I can understand, especially when you remind me, like the kitchen is where so much of your passion is spent, right?
Yeah.
When you remind me of that, I can understand it a lot better. I think, so if we rewind to the start of this conversation, the part I think maybe you're losing me on the walk to the gallery is when I hear someone inquiring on ways to what later in the conversation is like get to their passion, right? That's like if that's a stranger on the street, right? That's a major red flag. Do you get what I mean?
Elaborate a little bit for me.
Like if like this is just an example that has happened from like a newbie artist, right? Online, and they have some stuff, but it's all like trash, but they're just starting out and they're reaching out or whatever, and they're like, oh, how did you do the XYZ? And I'm really trying to get started in whatever. And it'd be like, awesome. And if there's no, if I'm just saying in a for instance land, if for instance they didn't show initiative and were asking for catalysts to get themselves going, it feels... Do you get what I'm getting at?
I mean, to be honest, I think it feels fair. I think I know where you're going with it, but I don't necessarily see a thing wrong with that.
I don't either, but I'm more saying that was where we started, where it doesn't feel... The intro to the conversation doesn't feel like, hey, I'm really passionate about this and I'm looking for other ways to satiate it. It was more kind of thinking about dabbling with this project. I have some other projects I've talked about that I haven't. It's been a long time, and maybe I'll throw some horror movies in.
Yeah. So I mean, that's more of.
That's where you lost me, though.
Let me okay. Let me start. Let's start the podcast over.
All right. Welcome to
the Trash Cats Trashcast. This is Richard.
I'm Steven.
And Steven, I finally get some time off of work.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I have, all these little bits and bullshit I want to work on, stuff I've been planning on for years, but I'm having trouble getting the motivation up to do it.
We're gonna have to restart again. Should have been, hey, this is my passion. I'm fulfilling it in this way. How do I find other ways?
That's such a weird way to talk.
Talk passionately, brother. Be confident.
That's such a weird way to start a conversation.
Bro, I just love kitchens. How do I get more kitchens?
Honestly, let me be real with you. Honestly, what I was really hoping to get out of you at the beginning of the episode was for you to improvise some really goofy bullshit and then dwindle out from there. And there's no way I could have communicated that to you without giving away the premise that I had, thus ruining the premise because you would have shot it down.
This goes back to our pre-podcast conversation. Where you have a high interest in goofs, and I have a low interest in goofs.
But when you do goof, it's good.
I'm never down to goof. I'm not anti-goof.
You new boot goof on a regular basis.
I'm a new boot goofer. I clown hard.
You do?
So hard. I got it tattooed above my dick. I'm not afraid to clown, but
But someone says the word projects and Steven is steamed.
I lose it, dude. What the fuck is a project?
He's fucking goosed, man. He's ready for it.
Bro, if I sweep my house
That's a project.
once a month, that's a project, bro.
I don't disagree with you. I think that's a fine way of looking at it.
But I'm not fulfilled by that.
So, like, maintenance stuff like that, like washing the dishes, doing your laundry, sweeping your house, keeping your house a base level of clean.
Yeah, I get most
That's
people.
that's not projects. If you want to look at it as side quests, I think that's kind of fun.
Here's my true issue. I truly do. I think it's rad you get fulfillment from your work. I've seen how talented you are, and I think it's cool you enjoy doing those other things, but I wish you wanted more because I think you're capable of like so much incredible shit. And I get really kind of annoyed that so many people I've cared about over the years are so fucking talented and like don't have the want for that. And I feel like we deserve more than that. Like,
now let me disappoint you in a huge way. I think it's awesome that you feel like I have the ability to go above and beyond and achieve different things. What I would say is those other things that you think that I could achieve are not always things that I want to invest my time in. If I invested my time in them, I would say, this isn't what I want to be doing with my time. Therefore, it's a waste of my time.
I understand that.
So, and I like I said, I'm 100% flattered and grateful that you feel that way.
Here, can I put, like, for the sake, this is like, if we were having this conversation interpersonally, I wouldn't take it here. But if we're podcasting, and I'll be a little content, do we not, I don't even necessarily believe this, do we not have a moral debt to offer the max of what we're capable?
No. No, we don't.
No. All right, so, fucking, what's some dumb famous guitarist? Jimi, whatever the fuck.
Hendrix?
Yeah, he sucked at guitar. He wasn't that good.
Fucking piece of shit.
Dude,
He sucked.
Yeah, fucking Purple Rain. Get real, bro. Okay, so we got this loser.
Oh, the boomers just exploded. Go ahead.
Imagine if he was only half as good as he was. Or imagine a Bob Marley or whoever the fuck didn't exist because they just didn't really feel like doing it. Do they not have some authority to use their capabilities of what they're capable of?
No.
Even
here's what I would argue. They have a moral obligation to themselves to do the thing that
to be happy.
Yeah, to do the thing that
That's
brings
bullshit.
them. Yeah, no.
That's bullshit, dude. Who the fuck cares about being happy if you could have done something that matters? Like, all right. So we're gonna say
that mattered to who?
I'm glad Jimi Hendrix smoked weed
that mattered
instead of learning to play guitar. I'm glad he was happy. Now we all don't have music. Cool. Thanks, Jimmy.
You can't disprove negatives and all that shit. So let me ask you this: when you say something that mattered to who?
It mattered to a lot of people.
Yeah,
clearly.
Fuck those people. I'm not those people. Fuck those people.
It mattered to him.
Are those people gonna reach out to me and
Do you
pay
not,
me to?
So starting over, we're clearing the chalkboard. Do you not owe it to yourself then to live up to your potential? That's where I should have started. But I wouldn't do this in our conversation. But I think it's an interesting thought. Do we owe it to ourselves to maximize what we're capable of? 'Cause I feel that. I don't feel I think that's
not. I feel like that's not a yes/no answer. I feel like yes, it's you should definitely invest time in bettering yourself at all things that you're interested in bettering yourself in. Does
Sure,
that
like
mean
if I'm the best knife thrower in the world, but I don't enjoy throwing knives. I shouldn't spend 20 hours a day throwing knives. I get that.
exactly?
I get that.
I might be the world's greatest fucking fantasy football,
But
player.
there are things you enjoy that you're good at and you're passionate about, like,
And I spend my time doing them.
but it's not what you're thinking about or pursuing. I'm not saying you don't.
I pursue them as things that I want to do and that I do. I would say I wish I had a little bit more time in the summer to, to draw and do some other stuff, but it's 6 months out of the year that I'm busy, and then the rest of the year is slow and I have time to focus on my artwork and stuff. I feel like I got a good gig.
Well, let me be honest then. I feel like, excuse me, I understand there's levels, and like there's no point of being fully committed to something you're good at if you don't enjoy it. I understand that, but something like your cooking, I feel there's part of me that is like perplexed of why you wouldn't want to be. Do you get what I mean? Like putting more into that outside of it being fulfilling just for the work part.
I kind of see what you mean with that.
I get confused.
So here's the thing with the food. This is not the way I want to phrase it, but this is, for the lack of better terms at the moment, this is how I've explained it to somebody else. I've learned what I want to know. I've learned what I need to know to then teach myself new things, play with, and like I know how to teach myself. I know how to research and understand flavors and processes and stuff like that. So I can, if I want to learn a new style of cooking or a new something, try to make this, beef Wellington vegan or whatever goofy, crazy shit I want to do. I know how to do that, and I can do that, and I have done that. I continue to do that.
I know that.
So even if I do that that's part, again, with the home kitchen thing, where I want to have a good functioning, well laid out kitchen that also looks good, so that I can do more of that.
But when you bring up the kitchen, it's about the kitchen. It's not what you're doing with it. That's how it's been framed to me. And this may just be the walk to the art museum isn't really what the piece is about or whatever. But it doesn't feel that way to me.
It's the parking garage being built next to it. It's not ready and it looks like shit at the moment. But once it's ready, you're going to have all these spaces for more people to come to this gallery. The more people come to the gallery, the more money it makes. The cleaner it looks on the inside, the better artwork they get. Yada, yada, yada.
We're going to rewind even farther back. 5 years ago, when you would talk about cooking, it sounded different.
Yeah. Right? So I think like a lot of young, especially in the food industry, I know it's a prevalent thing. I'm not sure about other.
I'm gonna shortcut this only because we've had this conversation. I get that, but I feel like maybe that's what I'm hoping to hear from you. Then is that you would feel that way again, because it feels as your friend that there's part of that just isn't clicking or has changed for all those good reasons.
So it's not so much that it's changed. The parameters have changed. So where like I have no desire to
Michelin star.
work in a Michelin star restaurant. I think
that.
Do a couple shifts just to see how they do shit at a cool place might be fun. But like I definitely don't want to open my own restaurant. That's hell.
I get that.
I realize that where I thrive as a employee, or not just as an employee, but as like, for me, my strengths, I do really well as a second in command. And especially in a kitchen hierarchy, you have the chef that's usually like, here's what we're going to do. Here's what I want to do. and these are the things that we're going to use to do it, make it happen. And then the second in command is usually the sous chef in the kitchen per se is the one that executes that, makes it possible to do that, works, trains, all the other people, this is how we do this. Makes that plan a reality. I'm good at doing that. I'm good at taking an idea and running with it. I can offer others insight to like building on it and whatever, but I work really well when it's A, someone else's money, and B,
their direction.
They have a way they want to go with it. That's why I tell people I went to school for management, for culinary management is what I do.
There's an element of that. I mean, we talked. There's an element of that with the podcast where, between our dynamic, I get that, but I guess what the root of what, and I totally respect that too. I think the root of what I'm getting at though is I don't, in your free time, or I get not necessarily free time, but the time outside of meeting work life balance requirements or whatever. Yeah. I don't hear you. I hear what I have heard that's limited to the scope of tonight. What I hear is the like passive, like calm pursuit of it. Mm-hmm. But I don't often hear the excitement to pursue it on your own. Like that's much more rare. It's not never, like you totally do, but
I think part of that, especially in the last 3 years, has been I'm in a place that's going to grow on its own, and I don't need to be aggressive in knowing that I found something that I can grow with.
But I like when you're psyched and you're like, dude, I took pictures of this shit, or I'm writing a new recipe for that. So, I'm like, fuck yeah. That's where I can tell you're like fully in.
So here is a cool thing. I mean, for work, we're about to go through and do a bunch of new recipes for shit. We want to have some different smoothies on. We want to have some different availabilities. There's that, but that's for work. In my off time, one of the things that I want to do more often, I'd consider doing like the pop-up kind of things where like you go to an established dinner or established restaurant and like, you sell tickets and you try to fill up the seats and then you feed a bunch of people. And it's not that I won't do that. I think I like the idea of it, but it's so much of a hassle and
it sounds like a fucking hassle.
It's rad. It's a lot, but then like I lose the love of it when I do that. I think I have so no, listen. So I want to do instead just like small parties for friends, coworkers, people I know.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm going to offer you a 5-course meal, but you're just. Well, I mean, like I thought about that. Like, and I've had multiple of my friends be like, I'll chip in for sure. Like I'll give you, like $30-$40 to like come over here and like eat something that you made if you made some really cool shit. And like, that's rad. I would do it for free because it's something that I enjoy. I'm not doing it to make, I'm not going to make money. I have 3 people giving me, $30. I'm going to spend $90 on dinner at least. We're going to get really cool shit and do really cool shit. And I feel like that's me. That's when I get excited about it. Like I've already got like,
that's what I want to hear.
I have a pan.
It's dope.
I bought a butane burner a few years ago for some bullshit I had to do. But I still have it. And I have a bunch of butane and I got myself a Korean barbecue grill plate for it. So I want to have people over and do fucking Korean barbecue. I found a fucking Asian grocery that has like Wagyu, like slices of like, different cuts and shit. That are really gorgeous, and I want to fuck around and find out with some of that. I want to do green curry this year. You never got the fucking canned shit I made last year.
I know, we suck,
dude. I made like a smoked apple butter, and I have them sitting over here for you. They're fucking ready to go. I just bought the peppers to make some hot sauce this year.
So if we if we rewind,
Let's start over one more time. Welcome to the Trash Cats Trash Cast.
I would say, like, fuck yeah, get that kitchen done ASAP. And whatever form, like, even you just talking about that now, whatever gets you to that feeling.
Yeah, man. You come up here. We'll do dinner together.
I'd love it.
I've been getting excited about it. It's just, you know, that's my, I don't know, that's just my average shit now.
So what? So, all right. So if we go back to the initial like brainstorm, what is a way?
I don't. Sorry, go ahead.
What is a way to like get that as like a version of that as a more regular like hobby or project in your life?
Well, number one, having a more functional kitchen. That was the main thing of like having
first thing to check off.
Once I have that together and I know I have the space to do it, which I do now.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm waiting for now is the new sink and which I have. I'm waiting until I get my counters done.
Yeah.
And once I get the counters done, I can install the sink.
And you're in the game again.
Yeah, and then once I have that done, like that's basically all I'm going to invest in until something breaks.
So the question is, like, after that, will it, and I'm not saying this is necessarily right or wrong, but will it be the more passive pursuit of it? Or is there a way to like have a structured, and I'm not saying super, like when I work on art, it's like I normally am kind of planning it, but it's also just when you can fit in life. But is there a way to have like a regular thing you do that gets to that feeling? I
mean, yeah. I feel like I do it all the time anyways, but I don't really, I don't know, I guess I don't usually feel like it's noteworthy. Like I've sent you pictures of stuff that I thought were interesting, but I don't do that every time that I make something that I'm excited and proud of.
Yeah.
I usually don't take pictures of food. If I have some really cool shit, or if it's like I think the last thing I sent you was like the last meal. It was like 8:00 in the morning. I went to the grocery store because I was craving steak and eggs, and I got the stuff to make steak and eggs.
It looked so good.
It was just like super high cholesterol meal at 8:00 in the morning. It was like,
what about like a weekly meal you're cooking for you or someone?
I would love to do that. I was just going to say a minute ago, like if I could get multiple people over, you know, or at least one other person over here on a regular basis to do that, I would love that. Like I make cool shit for myself all the time. I just don't know. Sometimes it's not that it's,
I say this.
I make things that I get excited about probably at least every 2 weeks, if not more often than that. I would probably say once a week I make something that's like, okay, cool. This was fun, or I get a thinking of like, I haven't done that in a while, or maybe I'll fuck around with this ingredient or something.
I think part of this is just too like it's like I don't get to see that part of it, so it's like when you're
gotta move up here, start slinging smoothies with me, dog.
But like when you're communicating it, I don't see as much of the part of it where you're doing it for yourself. So like when we're talking about it, like I'm almost at a disadvantage of understanding.
That's fair. I mean, to be fair, like I said, I see that for myself as just like, that's just the norm for me, is like fucking around and doing shit with food. Like I do that on a regular basis. It's not new to me. I don't see it as something that's like,
you know,
honestly, until I really think about it, I think it's weird that other people don't do that. I think it's, you know, like you feel with, you know, people pursuing more art stuff. Like I think it's weird that people don't fuck around more with food, considering especially that everybody eats. You have to eat something or you die. So
you would think there'd be a higher percentage of people invested in it. Yeah.
That at least know how to cook or get excited about
or grow
cooking.
food or just involved in it more.
Any part of the line, but like an interest.
We're just consumers.
Yeah. I mean,
here's what you should really do.
too.
This should be your real passion project. The goal should be to jumpstart Keith's career as a food critic by fraudulently mimicking a bunch of restaurants and having him write all the reviews. You can make a website and like have all the photos of the food and like try to get him without him knowing. That's the like he just starts getting phone calls to like show up at restaurants. Dude, how funny would that be? Like, oh, we saw your website, Mr. Keith, and
you know the best part is like you don't. So when you do that, you don't get like they don't get phone calls to like, hey, Mr. Food Critic, come out here. Usually the food critic will call and make a reservation, and if it's as simple as just like I make the reservation under his name. And then they're like, oh, it's that food critic. And then we go and then they comp our meal and then we're like, oh, wow, that was cool. And then I can explain it away and be like, oh, yeah, we go way back, me and the chef back there, that's why.
And anyone you give a good review to, I'll write a Trash Cats review where I torch them.
Yeah.
Not enough sauce.
And then we start... Then Keith and I started separate podcasts where we talk shit about Trash Cats and their poor food reviews. And then...
That's what I'm saying. We got to dive all into our passions.
I mean, the minute you said food reviewer, the first time when you said make Keith a food reviewer, the immediate thing I thought of as a fraud, right? And you said fraudulently. I was like, yes, we're on the same page. Oh my God. That would, I mean, he's, I don't know if I should say this on here, but he's quitting his job.
Good.
I think he's already put in his notice and they begged him to stay. And, he's going to be a stay-at-home daddy.
Good for him, man.
He's going to be doing, working on his own art shit and doing, raising the boys.
As a kid, that's like that'd be the coolest shit ever. You know?
Imagine having like Keith as your dad.
Yeah, it'd be rad.
Fucking rad as hell. Like those kids are going to be playing D&D in no time. His oldest kids already do.
So I think if we have to pick a point to wrap it up, like I don't feel we owe the world fucking bug our capabilities or talents, but I do feel we owe it to ourselves to some extent. And clearly I respect what you do. Like we're hamming it up a bit. I know how, like, we do this podcast. Like, we're both pursuing things, but as a general thing, I often feel disappointed by just people's lack of, and I don't even think it's lack of want, but it's just hard sometimes. I think
other priorities take place.
Life happens type shit. Yeah.
I think it's fair to say we owe it to ourselves to, I don't know. I don't know if I want to say find something that you're passionate about, or find something you enjoy doing. Because I feel like those are two different things, but I think
find something to justify existing. You're taking up everyone else's oxygen.
If you're sucking up all the air in the room, make it worth it. Make it count.
Filling pipes with poop. Like, why the fuck are you here? Like, go die or go do something. All these fucking stupid people just filling pipes with poop, not doing anything. Like, I want to be greedy. I want them to do shit so my life is more colorful, better. Yeah. Like the people I respect are like people we've talked to on here, like Protein, Chaotic, like our friends and people, like they all do stuff, and that's what makes them interesting or cool, or like be able to express what's inside of them. Like, I don't know, that just so many people just don't do shit or give up on it. It's so fucking annoying. Like, I feel like I spent a lot of time, I don't know, arguing with people to like do what they already should be doing because I want it from them.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck them. Like I don't even do it.
Do
for
something
themselves.
you love.
Yeah, do something when you love, just so I can have it. I'm just gonna be greedy. Yeah.
I think that's a great place to end.
Yeah. Fuck everyone. Make shit for me.
Thanks again for listening, everybody. Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Yeah. Fuck you, John. Finish the
fuck
fucking
you, John.
album.
Eat shit, John. Make sure to check out the show page at Trash Cats Trashcast on Instagram for news and art from the show. Check out Facebook for the memes.
For the memes, if you're super bored, you can check out my trash art on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZX. Very slow, but I'm always working on something tonight. And
Steven, you owe it to yourself.
I do, dude. Or else, for real though, if I don't finish it, even if it's not that soon, because I know it's going to take longer than I want. If I don't finish what I'm currently working on, I will lose my mind. Someone will get stabbed if I don't do this. I have to. And so does everyone. Because I said so.
That's going to be all for us today. Stay classy, eat trashy.
Go fast, eat trash.